There's this moment in John Ford's My Darling Clementine. I can't stop thinking about it. Did you see it? Before I explain, let's watch it one more time. On the left, that's Wyatt Earp, played by Henry Fonda. On the right, that's Clementine Carter, played by Kathy Downs. He is the Marshal of Tombstone. She is a nurse, visiting from Boston. She has been asked to leave Tombstone by the man she traveled all this way to visit. He is smitten with her. Bells begin to ring. The site of a new church is about to be dedicated. They decide to go together.
You are going to the services, aren't you?
As the two make their way towards the site of the new church, they proceed slowly. It's like he is leading her down the wedding aisle, isn't it? We feel the uneasy happiness that often comes with an impromptu date. Waiting for the couple as they turn the corner is the town's unnamed barber. Upon seeing them, the barber lifts his arm into the air, raises a finger, and gives an approving nod. This is the moment, the one I can't stop thinking about. The one that can help us understand the larger formal and thematic elements of My Darling Clementine. The central conflict of My Darling Clementine is between the Earp brothers, led by Wyatt, and the Clanton family, led by Newman Haynes Clanton, played by Walter Brennan. After Wyatt's brother is murdered and the herd of cattle his brothers and he are transporting is robbed, he takes a job as the town's marshal to avenge his brother's death. In his new role, Wyatt soon encounters Doc Holliday, played by Victor Mature. Doc heads gambling in Tombstone and acts as a kind of pseudo-town leader. If Doc doesn't want you in town, you best get out. Doc and Clanton serve as Wyatt's two foils in the film. Clanton is the typical villain, with no sense of decency or hint of a redeemable quality. Doc, on the other hand, is more complex. Though he leads some sort of unidentified, nefarious activity, he is decent and good deep down. By the end of the film, Wyatt and he are friends, and Doc will die at the hands of the Clanton family. While the conflict that sets the film in motion is the Earp brothers' murder, a key thematic conflict is the one between the two ways of life presented by Wyatt and Doc, and how they manifest in each man's relationship with Clementine, who arrived in Tombstone for Doc, but ends up staying for Wyatt. Their conflict can be understood as two contrasting ways of American life, the East versus the West. Wyatt is the quintessential Westerner. In film and American life in general, the West is emblematic of an idealistic egalitarianism. All is free and fair in the West for those willing to work hard for what they want. A man can earn the reputation he desires.
Marshalling? In Tombstone? Well, good luck to you, Mr.
Earp. Wyatt Earp.
Wyatt is pragmatic.
Mayor, is that marshalling job still open?
It sure is.
I'll take it.
It's yours.
Providing my brothers are my deputies.
When do you want to start?
Now.
He lives an agrarian lifestyle, and he has a do-it-yourself attitude.
If you ain't got him committed to no shipper, I'll take him off in your hands.
Not interested.
Make you a good offer. Pay you in silver $3 a head.
Nope.
Wyatt is an uneducated, unassuming man of the land who embodies the simplicity of the frontier, thus explaining why he is so at ease through most of the film. He is a creature of the West. Doc, by contrast, embodies the ideals of the East. He is from Boston, a surgeon with multiple diplomas hanging on his bedroom wall. He is sophisticated.
Lie to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all.
He is refined.
A glass of champagne for the marshal.
Make it whiskey.
You're my guest, Marshal. Champagne.
Doc is clearly part of the Eastern upper class, which is what makes him feel so out of place in Tombstone.
John Holiday.
Despite his power, he is an outsider. Moreover, his nefarious business dealings associate him with the corruption typically found in the East. It is as if Wall Street has made its way to Tombstone. The differences in Doc's two worlds manifest themselves too in the form of his lovers, Clementine and Chihuahua, played by Linda Darnell. Clementine, of the East, is a straight-laced, law-abiding intellectual nurse, like Doc the Easterner. Chihuahua, of the West, is a law-breaking prostitute from Mexico, an outsider, like Doc the Westerner. I have digressed to set the stage for the moment from My Darling Clementine outlined at the beginning of this essay. It is clear from the first time Wyatt sets his eyes on Clementine that he is in love with her. However, it is also clear that she is very much not from his world. There is an East-West divide between them too. And so, to impress her, what does Wyatt do? He goes to the barber shop.
I don't think that's kind
No,
of...
sir. No, sir. New chair gets in next week from Kansas City, Kansas.
Fine, fine.
Sweet smelling stuff, Miss Dirk. Sweet smelling stuff.
Notice how he walks slower and appeals awkward and discomforted. He is not the at-ease Wyatt we have come to know. He is doing it for Clementine.
Scent of the desert flowers.
That's me. Barber.
Why does this matter?
What can I
Earlier
do
in the
for you?
film, when the Earp brothers first arrive in Tombstone, the first thing Wyatt does is go to that very same barber shop and get a shave. In that moment, the barber offers him a bath, but Wyatt declines.
We give baths, too.
Shave.
He insists that only a shave is necessary. His tangled, wild beard becomes a neat mustache. Wyatt's cleanliness therefore becomes indicative of his own perceived place in society. While on the frontier, Wyatt pays no attention to his facial hair. When he enters the town, he trims his facial hair but does not see a bath as necessary. Not until the Easterner Clementine arrives does true hygiene become a worthwhile endeavor. Moreover, when Wyatt first visits the barber, he also seems out of place. When he sits in the barber's chair, it nearly topples over because the barber does not know how to properly use it. The barber informs them that he has only had the chair for a week.
Come all the way from Chicago.
While Chicago is, of course, not the East, it is certainly not the West, and would absolutely be associated with a kind of sophisticated lifestyle that is like anything but Tombstone. This moment is nearly repeated during Wyatt's second visit to the barber shop.
New chair gets in next week from Kansas City, Kansas.
Fine, fine.
And so, by bringing a piece of outside machinery that people of the West are unable to operate, the barber shop from the outset of the film becomes associated with the side of the divide that is non-Western. This divide is only heightened when the bullets of Indian Charlie, played by Charles Stevens, come flying through the barber shop, hitting mirrors and cosmetics and forcing Wyatt to take action and thus setting the story in motion. The West has literally attacked the East. Ford, as director, has attached formal and thematic significance to the barber shop. Thus, when Wyatt and Clementine round the corner and the barber raises his arm, lifts his finger, and nods his head in approval, it is an endorsement of Wyatt's attempt to adopt the ways of the East, which is itself a gesture of his love for Clementine. It is in this moment that the gap between the East and West is bridged.